What is the meaning of this? You have no right to detain us.
Hell, cowards!
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. You honestly can't be surprised that it's me, can you? Virgil is my favorite alias, given the literary roots. Your expression right now. Forgive the cliché, but it truly is priceless. If Brookshire had only known what this was worth to me. That's right. Brookshire wasn't inclined to consider the fate of the townspeople, much less you, when weighed against the supply of silver. I'm not sure what your political leanings are, but if you consider yourself a patriot of the NCR, that must really, really sting. In this moment of unforeseen, inconceivable reversal, you must be thinking, how did this happen? It boils down to one simple characteristic, resolve. When you kill Sergio, I resolved to make you suffer to your last breath. Maybe you're thinking of ways to break from your bonds, disarm me, kill the guards, save the day. Not this time. Whatever happens next, you're going to be utterly powerless to stop me. Doesn't that just burn you up? If you didn't have that gag, I can only imagine what you might be saying. Well, I'm a cautious fellow, so I want to be safe. I can't risk any interruptions during my theatrics. Nothing is worse than a disruptive audience.
One of you, fucking coward!
Right through the hands. That does look painful. You won't be opening any jars again, much less handling a weapon. Even with the pain, I wonder if you're consumed by rage, or dread. Neither benefits you, but dread suggests an honesty that I have to admire. Were you expecting a fair fight? A climactic showdown in the street? Sergio tried it that way, didn't he? My brother had heart, I'll give him that. I've never had a mind for fair fights, though I've won my share. I prefer domination, and most importantly, survival. That's all that matters. You want to speak, don't you? No doubt you have a pithy retort or some eloquent overture prepared that would convince me to throw down my arms. Not tonight. This time you'll be silent, like a dog following its owner. When this is over, you'll acknowledge me as your master. You're going to beg for death. You'll pray to God for it to end, but he won't listen. Only when you pray to me will you gain release. But that can wait. Right now I'm an official agent of the New California Republic, warden of their new outpost in Fractal. In my administration, law and order will be upheld without exception. Why not get off to a strong start here and now?
Please don't do this.
By the powers invested in me by the New California Republic, I hereby authorize these agents of the justice system to collect unlawful bounties.
That takes care of that.
So it was done, all according to the law. Randall, 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 you came so far only to taste the bitterness of defeat again. Deep down you knew it would end this way. Ford, you were quite eager to betray Mr. Randall. Why don't you do the honors?
You son of a bitch!
Now, what are we going to do with you? I could put a round in your head, make it quick, clean. Then again, that's been tried. I don't fear failure so much as being unoriginal. No, I've got something better in mind. You ever hear stories of drunks being buried alive? Since you're not in a position to speak, I'll take your indignant squinting as a yes, so I'll continue. When a man is buried alive in, say, a coffin, he might have 30 minutes or so to live. Trust me, I know. I've seen it firsthand. It's one heck of an interrogation technique, acting like you're burying them. I leave them down there for a bit, then pull them up. They always come up gasping. A few even lose their minds in that short span. I guess it's the darkness and the noise. Imagine, your breathing is strained, dust fills your mouth and eyes, and you hear the weight of earth shifting above you. It's inexorable death. That's why I saved you for last. I want you to feel that terror as you dwell on what transpired here tonight, how you were beaten. No matter how hard you are, the terror will take you eventually. In that moment, when you're wishing for it all to end, just remember, I was the one man who beat you. And that's what people will remember, what they'll say for years to come. It isn't just your body that I'm burying tonight. It's your legend.
Hey, boss, you sure you don't want me to shoot him first?
No, I want the courier to suffer to the last. You hear that, friend? Of course you can, even with that hood on. Is the coffin comfy? Just so you know, I'm putting you in an unmarked grave in the middle of nowhere. From a legal standpoint, you will have simply vanished. You're going to be just another anonymous stiff. You afraid now? Just let it wash over you. Don't fight it. You're so close to the end. I wonder how you might have molded the Mojave if you'd lived. I'm sure people will speculate to no end. They'll forget you, though. They always do. At this moment of acute reflection, I wonder if you appreciate the futility of your efforts. Your mentor is dead. Really dead. I'll face no legal or governmental consequences. Quite the contrary. I'll become a respected citizen, leaving this town while the worms gnaw on your rotting corpse. You remember that when the air thins out. If you could do it all over again, would you even come here? So much to ponder in the darkness. Rest easy. Close it up, boys.
And the dead shall rise and walk the earth. Wasn't sure you'd make it, but here you are, on your feet no less. Doodling check, seeing how the previous owner no longer has stake in it. I figured it was good enough for my needs. At least it's warm. Track Mark on his boys after what happened in town. Saw them aim to bury you alive, so I watched and waited. Marco cleared out and left a pair of men behind, so I slipped in, took them down with a flashbang and a few smacks with my baton. Then I went digging as fast as possible, found you unconscious but breathing. Lucky for you, that doc had some blood in his stores. I managed to get you up here in the dark. Got that blood in you, then patched you up your hands. You're damn lucky you know that. The followers of the apocalypse. I was a physician for a time, enjoyed helping people. That was all I wanted to do as a young man. But when you see good people get hurt and nothing's done, nothing changes. It can move you to action. I thought I could make things right. That's why I hunted men down for so long. It was never about money. Everyone I gunned down was a tiny piece of justice for what I'd lost. You do it for enough time, you stop seeing them as men. They're everything you hate, everything you fear, personified. Maybe I could go back to the followers, start practicing again somewhere, start over. I'm done killing though. That I could promise you. I'm done hunting anyone or anything. What they did, it was simple butchery. God help me. I'll never forget it. The hell with bounty hunters. I knew something was going down when Brookshire pulled us aside before the op. Told everyone there would be bounties on the townspeople. He told us to keep our mouths shut and follow Marco's lead. When the time came, most everyone nodded and smiled, didn't even question him. I had no loyalty to Randall, but it bothered me regardless. Brookshire told us to round up everyone in town that he would handle you. I didn't know what they had in store. I mean, I thought they'd capture everyone and haul them back for a trial. That's what they're supposed to do. I also didn't know that Brookshire would trade you and Randall out. I thought he would just tell you to fuck off in a typical NCR fashion. See, they had me posted at the church, waiting with a rifle, in case you tried anything. I had a clear view of everything, that's for sure. I didn't know they'd killed them all right there. Let Marco kill Randall? I should have done something, but I just froze. Marco was in the crosshairs, but I couldn't do it. I was scared. Goddamn shameful fucking coward. That's what I am. Physician, heal thyself, huh? Yeah, you might be right. I don't want to talk about it, okay? You saw what happened. No use dwelling now. He left town to bury Randall's body. He must have thought pretty highly of him, because the rest were buried in a mass grave. When I last went into town to Nav Supplies, I saw most of the hunters were living it up in the saloon. Ford was with them. Look, I want to leave this place and never look back. I'm making straight for Mojave, so you're welcome to join me. Burning your boats on the shore, huh? Look, if this is how you want to play it, I'll respect your decision. I can't help you, but I'll wait here. You'll surprise them. They'll probably panic. Don't expect Marco to go easy, though. You're walking wounded. Won't be healed for weeks at least. Marco won't take any chances this time. He'll kill you. Deaths to a dead man will just get you killed for nothing. There's nothing left here for you but regret. You can still help people in the Mojave. I won't stop you, but I won't leave you either. I'll wait here for a day or two. If you don't come back, I'll just assume the worst and move on.
How in the... I should have known. I deliberately provided simple instructions, yet people can't manage if I'm not supervising. I do hate leadership at times. There's no way you can be healed up. Why even come here? You can't win this fight. You're broken and alone. You lost. You could have walked out of this canyon and I'd never have given you a second thought. Apparently, I'm just not good at vengeance. You killed my brother, so I maimed and humiliated you, then slaughtered a town and forced you to watch. That's more or less even, right? I know you're anxious to spew some venomous diatribe, but permit me a moment. Let's say that a miracle occurs and you killed me. You'll limp back to the Mojave with a broken body, your myth shattered. People will only remember your feelings. They're just lousy that way. They won't talk about how you killed me. They'll mock you for getting captured and allowing the town to get butchered. You had a good thing in the Mojave. You should have stayed there. Quite a stage we have here, huh? Audience of dead men. Go ahead, tell me how I'm destined for the infernal reaches or all manner of mutilation. I'm sure it will be very bold and original. Ford was a parasite, the lowest form of man, unable to stand on his own, forge his own path. He could only leech off the energy of others. At least Randall had purpose and guts. Once the hunters were paid and gone, I was going to personally cut Ford's throat. So thanks. As for being alone, that's how it's always been. Anyone who's honest knows that's what life is. It's a slow, lonely stroll through hell. Only person I ever cared about was my brother, and you took it upon yourself to snuff him out for a greasy wad of caps. This is how it should be. I'm ready, courier. Scared? No, not in the least. I'm gravely disappointed. You had to get involved with every little thing, didn't you? Before you killed my brother, I had a good thing going here. I had real peace for the first time in my life, and you took it from me. I'll get it back with the NCR, but it's going to be a while before the fire goes out inside. That's why I hate you. You remind me of what I am. I'd kill you 1,000 times if I could, just to see that look. The moment when you realize that you're no better than me. Even if you survive, you'll carry the curse. You'll never have a normal life. People will always see the blood on your hands before anything else. So no, I'm not scared. I pity you. I only regret that I didn't personally see to your demise. To bind, prod, whip, skewer, and slice you until all that remained was twitching flesh. I regret the passing benevolence which tainted my judgment, made me doubt my own nature, my strength. It was an infection of weakness. I wish I could have scourged your friends in front of your eyes, then let you listen to their screams after I'd blinded you. Do you know what I feel when I think of the townspeople, Randall or his family? Nothing. They were no more than insects, mere parasites. This world is hate, and I am its greatest pupil. Bring your courage, your righteousness. Measure it against my resolve, and you will fail. So the toad says to the wolf, "Death is a comfort to me, nothing to be dreaded. Even if I fall, I am happy, no, overjoyed, at your suffering. You'll never live this down, never. If I die, you'll still be remembered as a failure, tainted forever. I can die happy knowing that." Oh, how sentimental of you, using Randall's old piece. I knew I shouldn't have buried that stuff with you. Very careless. You know, I've also got a revolver that I've used over the years. I call it Old Scratch. Not sure exactly what inspired the name. It just stuck. I'm normally not keen on religion, but sometimes I think this old Roscoe has a hunger for souls. Crazy, right? So it's your Remington versus Old Scratch. Sounds like a pre-war monster movie. Wouldn't it be ironic if that's all that people remembered? Pardon me, I'm normally not so glib in these moments, but the tension is just invigorating. It's time. I enjoyed watching.
Yes? You did it. You actually did it. I didn't expect to see you again. Sat here thinking how I'd break it to your people back in Vegas.
And so it was that the clash between the courier and Marco had come to its conclusion. Their actions had reshaped Frost Hill and irrevocably changed the fortunes of numerous inhabitants.
Shortly before the massacre at Frost Hill, an argument between Cocker and Cuddy resulted in Cuddy actually walking the fuck out the door. Cocker insisted on following Cuddy as he walked out of the Deep Creek Mountains, berating him the entire time. This continued for several weeks until Cuddy walked to an NCR recruiting station and enlisted to spite Cocker. Undeterred, Cocker enlisted beside his friend and immediately volunteered for frontline duty. Insistent that Cocker was in fact a pussy, Cuddy volunteered for the same.
Thanks to the courier's largesse, Dana was able to retain ownership of the family farm. In time, she managed to salvage their fortunes. She eventually made a deal to sell produce and livestock to the Crimson Caravan, ensuring stable income for her foreseeable future.
Unsung and soon forgotten, Doolin was just another notch in the courier's belt. His relatives in California sometimes wondered what became of him, but they ultimately concluded that his outlaw ways had caught up with him.
For all his rage and ferocity, Porter could not cope with the courier's fatal attack. His frozen corpse would endure as a testament to the power of the courier.
Though sure of himself at the time, Lee's decision to fight the courier resulted in quick death. His cadaver was dumped on the outskirts of town, where it was torn asunder and consumed by local predators.
Godwin continued raising bighorners while secretly manufacturing mail bombs sent to NCR offices. His attacks claimed the lives of dozens of officials and innocent civilians in the years that followed. Godwin would never face justice.
Frost continued to move from town to town, always vigilant against the threat of assassination. Eventually, he headed towards the Great Plains, and he was never seen again.
Ford's dream of becoming a wasteland legend died with him in Frost Hill when he met the courier's wrath. In the final seconds before he died, Ford had hoped he'd earn his own chapter in the next dime novel about the courier.
Like the courier, Cooper survived the ordeal of near death and became closer to his new master as a result. He followed the courier to the Mojave, determined to remain a loyal companion no matter the end.
Just north of Mojave, Thorne said his goodbyes to the courier and headed towards the setting sun. Taking the courier's guidance to heart, Thorne headed back to Hayfork, enjoyed a cathartic reunion with his relatives. Soon thereafter, Thorne married and established a medical practice, serving the community of Hayfork for generations. Thanks to the support of his family, Thorne was able to move past the events at Frost Hill. He prayed that the courier would do the same.
Fresh off his successful operation to annex the Deep Creek Mountains, Brookshire was warmly received by his superiors at the NCR Embassy. After he ferried the surviving orphans of Frost Hill to state homes, Brookshire quietly filed a report that classified the courier as MIA. For his efforts, he was awarded with a promotion and a special commendation. His agency's director would call him a model for us all. Brookshire then planned his next operation from within the embassy, confident of his success, never considering that the courier might return.
In spite of his best efforts to evade the courier, Glanton finally met his end, deep inside Knife Point Cavern. Glanton's surviving supporters hailed him as a martyr, and soon hunted the courier in a quest for retribution.
In the end, Marco was undone by the very trait he so often touted, resolve. The courier persevered through pain and death in order to claim victory. Without his strong leadership, the NCR outpost at Frostville floundered. Once the 80s resumed their raids, the town was abandoned. Even after his death, Marco's name incurred fear and dread whenever it was muttered. His body had perished, but the legend endured.
Despite Marco's best-laid plans, the courier battled back from the brink of death and prevailed in the legendary duel. Though Marco was dead, the courier had not emerged from the contest unscathed. She would bear physical and mental scars for the rest of her life. Quietly enduring her injuries, she steadily limped back to the Mojave wasteland, where uncertainty and war awaited her.
Hold, Outland Devil. I, Talking Knife, have followed you for days, waiting to give you my message. Hear my words. You did nothing when the dog Glanton came to our camp, and every one of my kin fell under his blade. You saved the camp instead. I have come to kill you. Then I will kill the dog Glanton. Then I will have a good death. You say true? We find Glanton, eat his heart. You live. For now.
hear reports of Legion raiding parties all over the place. They can't all be rumors.